Imagine a world where Aztec temples aren't covered in gold, but carved with Norse runes. Picture a Viking warrior, iron helmet, braided beard, stepping into Tenochtitlan beneath the banner of Odin's raven. What if the Vikings, those fearless seafarers from the frozen north, had conquered America 5 centuries before Columbus? Would the New World have been ruled under the hammer of Thor instead of the cross of Christ? This isn't just a question. It's a portal to an alternate past, a world that almost existed if one ship had simply stayed. The Vikings were not just raiders. They were explorers, traders, and survivors. From the 8th to the 11th century, they crossed oceans others thought impossible. They reached North Africa. They traded with the Byzantine Empire. And yes, they reached America. Around the year 1000 AD, Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, landed on a shore he called Vinland, somewhere in today's Newfoundland, Canada. He was the first European to set foot in the Americas, 500 years before Columbus. But the colony failed. Winters were brutal, resources scarce, and the local tribes, the so-called Skraelings, fought fiercely for their land. So the Vikings sailed back to Greenland, and the dream of America vanished into legend, until now. But what if that first expedition hadn't failed? What if Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, had looked upon that distant coast and whispered, "Here, we stay." The year is 1001. Through the morning fog, Leif and his men glimpse a green, untouched shore. Tall pines, gentle winds, rivers alive with fish. They build shelters, light fires, and for the first time in months, they feel warmth, belonging, hope. This time they don't turn back. Winter comes. Harsh, unforgiving, but they endure. They learn from the land, from the people who already live there, trading furs for iron, words for wisdom. The Norse learn to grow maize, the natives learn to forge metal, and slowly, something new begins to take shape. Word travels across the North Atlantic. More longships arrive, carrying farmers, warriors, dreamers. They bring livestock, tools, and stories of Odin and Thor. But in this new world, even the gods seem to change. By the time a generation has passed, the settlement has become a thriving colony. Halls of timber, fields of grain, children with pale eyes and dark hair who speak both tongues. They are no longer just Norse, and no longer just native. They are Vinlandians, forged from iron, myth, and wild earth, a people born on the edge of two worlds. The Vikings bring more than weapons. They bring a way of thinking, bold, restless, endlessly curious. They trade iron tools for native furs and food. In return, the indigenous peoples teach them how to hunt, farm, and survive through harsh winters. Together, they thrive. Within a century, the Viking presence expands across the Atlantic coast, from modern-day Canada to the Caribbean. Long ships sail up rivers that will one day be called Mississippi and Hudson. Word of this green and golden land spreads across Europe, this time not as myth, but as trade routes. Timber, gold, and exotic goods flow eastward. The Middle Ages change forever. While plague devastates Europe, the Viking colonies flourish in the New World. Their numbers grow, their craftsmanship evolves, and most fascinating of all, so does their faith. At first, the Vikings hold on to their gods, Odin, Thor, Freya. But as they live among native peoples, their beliefs begin to merge. The gods of thunder meet the spirits of maize and sun. Runes intertwine with sacred glyphs. A new mythology is born, one that honors both the sky and the earth, both Valhalla and the spirit world. Instead of conquest and collapse, this timeline brings fusion and adaptation. There is no massive epidemic, no enslavement, no extermination. Instead, there's exchange. Metallurgy, navigation, agriculture, astronomy, knowledge flowing both ways. By the 1300s, this hybrid civilization forms a powerful alliance, the Kingdom of Vinlandia. It stretches from Newfoundland to the Gulf of Mexico. Fortified cities, vast trade routes, and warriors bearing tattoos of ravens and eagles. Europe watches in fear. Across the ocean, a new empire has risen, one that prays neither to the Pope nor the Emperor. By the time 1492 arrives, Columbus has no destination. The Atlantic is already mapped and controlled by Vinlandia. Spanish and Portuguese crowns face a rival power they can't conquer. History flips. Instead of Europe discovering America, America discovers Europe. Imagine it. Year 1500, a Vinlandian ship docks in Lisbon. Out step tall warriors covered in runic tattoos, carrying cacao, pelts, and golden trinkets. Europe stares, not at a new land to conquer, but at a new civilization equal to its own. The church trembles. A pagan, prosperous world challenges Christian dominance. Missionaries are sent, but they are met with suspicion or silence. The Renaissance doesn't begin in Florence. It begins in Tenochtitlan, Nordheim, a city where Norse architecture meets Mesoamerican brilliance. Astronomy, article, mathematics, a fusion of minds, Viking curiosity and native wisdom, giving birth to a completely different world. Two hemispheres, two powers, one balance of civilizations. Perhaps history didn't need conquerors, only explorers who stayed. If the Vikings had remained, maybe the meeting of worlds wouldn't have been a tragedy, but a partnership, a shared destiny between the children of Odin and the children of the sun. Maybe today, we would speak a global language mixing Old Norse and Nahuatl. Maybe we'd pray to both Odin and Quetzalcoatl in the same breath. Sometimes the fate of humanity changes, not by war, but by a single choice, to return home or to build a new one. Had Leif Erikson chosen to stay, the world you know would not exist, because history is written not in stone, but in the waves.